Hello everyone, it's Lisa here from Imposter Baker, and today we're going to work on the next step of that Mr. and Mrs. Claus cake. I do have some kits available, or they may be sold out at the time of this video. Go ahead and check with me and I can let you know where I'm at with those. There's also going to be, you'll see what supplies we're using, and I try to give you where I got the supplies and things like that, so you can purchase the supplies yourself. The kits are just simply for convenience and to make it so you have everything in one box sent to you. You'll have pretty much everything you need except for maybe a toothpick and maybe a piece of wax paper or just some basic household things that you can use, or I'll give you some substitutions. Maybe your paper towel, you know, nothing too major. The styrofoam base you'll get spackle, and I might even make it that the spackle and or the turntable are just upgrades and you can get more of a basic kit. I haven't totally decided that yet, but you'll know by the time this video comes out. You'll already know. It'll be on my Facebook page, and this will be posted out to YouTube, so either way you can follow along. And so where we are right now is that we have I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera to what we're doing now. We have so far, we have frosted our cake, and we have put the piping on. This is just on a base right now. I might end up taking this off. I don't know if I like using this for doing this part. So I haven't made all the decisions exactly on this particular cake. We're gonna we mostly have it figured out, but there might be some modifications. So the first thing that we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and use our spackle. If you bought the kit, you have a smaller bucket, and basically you should have quite a bit left, or at least enough for this portion. I'm just gonna grab maybe a couple of spoonfuls that size. We don't need a ton for this, but it is just going to be white, so since it's only white, I'm not going to worry too much about if I have a little extra more than I need, because if I want to change the color of it or I just want to put it back in my bucket, I can. So we're going to set that aside. Always burp your thing and close it tightly. Now if you got the kit, you have a little bucket, and so you'll want to make sure that that's down tight while you work. And so I'm just putting it in my container right now. I think I need to pull this a little, maybe everything this way for us for a little bit here. Okay. All right, so we're just going to mix it up a little bit, and remember, we want to add our white paint. You will have gotten a small thing of white paint for the kits. You can use any old white paint. That's acrylic. Do you just want to use acrylic paint? Doesn't have to be this brand. Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, everybody carries some kind of acrylic paint. And then we just want to mix that up. Make sure that we have a nice white, cleaning our spatula off. Again, making sure we tint our spackling a little bit, just because it can yellow, and does yellow in my experience. A year or so later, you will find that your white spackling for, I don't know, I made something with gingerbread in it, a gingerbread figure in it, and fortunately, I only made 2 of them, and I kept one, and one went to a friend of mine, and I noticed that it was not looking too good, the one I had, and so I was like, hey, check out your item, because I think it's probably yellowed, and I just replaced and gave her something new, but it does make a difference, even though it looks really white coming out. Okay, so we just got it mixed up here. Just want to get that white in there. You want it to kind of get that again, that little bit creamy look. I'm gonna move my light down a little bit. I don't know if this is creating a shadow, probably a little bit. Hopefully that's okay. And let's see, if I'm moving this way, you're gonna wanna come with me. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do, you can pick your cake up, it's dry now, or you can pick it up by the bottom like that. I wouldn't advise hanging onto the edge. In fact, some people will double this so that you have a thicker one. This cake isn't very heavy, but if it was a heavier cake, I might think about that. I think I'm gonna lose this. I don't think I need it. So let me just set that aside. Let me set it where it's not gonna, sorry, that was a little bit loud. So what we're gonna put on this cake, I'm gonna cover this up real quick, somewhat. We are going to add a dollop to the top of this. We're gonna build it up a little bit. And we have this cute little figure. This came from Walmart. I took the screw out of the top, and honestly, this one was a little tough in there. It's just glued in. It looks like it has hot glue on it. When you get it, it'll just have like a little hanger on it and a metal loop in there. I stuck my toothpick like right through that metal loop and then just used it kind of like a wrench to start to unscrew it a little bit. And then I used my fingers and just twisted it right off. So it's not really hard to get off from there. And then where the hole was located, I just stuck a little bit of my lightweight spackling with a toothpick, rubbed it into that hole so the hole's not noticeable. So we've kind of went from ornament to little cake topper. Okay, so my plan for this, and I'm gonna turn my cake facing you. I'm choosing the side, I'm trying to find where I ended my frosting. So this is the back side for me because that's where I ended my frosting. I'm gonna position everything this way. So we're gonna build up a little mound with our fake frosting to simulate snow. We then have this little tree. It's just, I think they call these, are they called pipe cleaner trees? I'm not sure what these are called. I don't know. I'm not sure what they're called. But I got some of these, and that will go kind of behind. And then we also have, I'm going to show you, this actually came as an ornament. And this string is just connected on here. All you do is just pull it off. It's just looped on here. There's no eye hook or anything on it. It's just looped onto the horn. And so easy peasy to take off. I just wanted to show you that's what it looks like. These came from Hobby Lobby in sets, and I think they have them again this year. I got these last year, and they come in different colors. This one happens to be like a silver gold mix. They also come in gold and then just plain silver, but I really liked how they had kind of a silver and gold in them, so you could use them in different schemes. So I'm just going to set him aside because I have another one here that I've already taken the top off. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put him, just move our tree over a little bit. So the idea is that then our reindeer's kind of like this. And instead of having him sit way down, I feel like he's getting kind of hidden by Santa. I want him to stand up just a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I took a scrap piece of styrofoam, and this literally, I just broke it off something that came in, I don't even know, some kind of package, had styrofoam in it, and I just broke off a little chunk of it. I didn't try to make it look pretty. It's not cut. You know, I'll put a piece in there for you. It might not be beautiful. If you don't like it all, you know, crumply, and I don't send, you can trim it off if it bothers you, or if it's just not getting hidden in your spackling. But basically what we're going to do is I'm going to move Santa for a second here so you can see. So we're going to build up our spackling. We're going to give us a little base. We're going to put our tree on it. We're going to cover up the tree base with the spackling so that it's kind of down in the snow, And then I'm going to have a little spackling underneath this. I'm going to set this in the spackling, kind of like that. And then the deer, and then I'll put a little more spackling on it, and then I'll stand the deer on it. So the deer's hooves will go down in it, but it will give it a little base to build it up. We might have to put him on after the spackle dries a little bit, because I think he's a little bit heavy. So he'll probably have to be the last thing. This doesn't weigh much. This definitely does not weigh much at all. It's like hollow plastic. There are some other things. I'm just going to give you some ideas of things you might want to do. I'm not going to do these things, but I'm just going to give you some tips. If you wanted to add a little snow, we might do that even on your reindeer's antlers, dripping off his back a little bit or something like that. You could put a little spackle on there. You could also use snow tex. The other thing you can do is you could put, once you get your spackle on and it's wet, you can sprinkle some glitter on it if you want your spackle to look glittery. If you're not sure, you can let it dry, and then you can use something like, you can use Mod Podge. I do not like Mod Podge because it's really wet and heavy. I like the Duracraft sealer, and I'll try to either link it or show you. I don't have one right here, but it's made by Deco Art Duracraft sealer. It comes in ultra matte, semi-gloss, and you can then, after that to dry, just use a little paintbrush, like that. Doesn't have to be, you do a little bit bigger one, and then you would just glaze that with it and just make it damp, and then sprinkle your glitter on, and then it will stick on there. And then usually what I do once it's all dry, then I'll tip it over and tap it a couple times on a piece of parchment or wax paper or something so that the glitter's not all over and you get any loose off. Or you can use a clean dry paintbrush. I usually use a little bit wider one, and I'll like tip it and brush it off onto whatever surface I'm trying to. Now you can either throw it away, or if you get a lot off, you can then close up your paper and put it back in your glitter container. So, all right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna start with this. You're just gonna use your same tip. For those of you that got kits, you have a tip. It's the 4B again. We're just gonna use the same one. Probably a lot of times I might change out my tip and use a 1M for the top, a little dollop, just to give it a little contrast. But because you all have this tip, and I don't know if you have the 1M, we'll just go ahead and use this one. It's not going to make a huge difference. And then the other thing, there's two more things I have to tell you actually. You are going to get also some little faux string lights. They don't light up, but they're really cute, and you'll get a piece of them to wrap all the way around your tree. You could do lighted ones, but then you'd have to run some kind of battery pack or something, and I just don't know. I don't know if I would personally prefer that. You could do that if you wanted, but you will get some string lights, but we don't have them right now. They haven't come in yet, so I can't show you those just yet, but you'll see it on the final product. The other thing you could do if you wanted to jazz up your Santa and Mrs. Claus ornament, you could take some Mod Podge or any kind of like tacky glue that's clear, something that's clear, and you could take your paintbrush, and then you could paint this glue over like all of the fluffy parts of Santa's pants and her dress, your hat areas, where it's in the little ball, his cuffs, her hat. You could paint that on, and then you could glitter that, add a little glitter, or you could use snow tex on it and add glitter or not, but you could add the snow tex and just kind of rub that on there and give it a little bit more dimension on those areas. So those are just some tips of things you can do that might be really cute to add that. So you can make it your own. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing, for sure. So let's go ahead and start. The other thing, oh, there was one more thing. I'm considering some of these little ornaments as they fall off. And I was thinking about somehow incorporating them down at the bottom of the cake. And you cannot see the bottom of the cake because I did not have you tilted to the bottom of the cake. And so what we would be looking at for that is just positioning them, maybe a little helter-skelter against there. That would be best done if you were doing it while your piping is a little wet and you can put some glue on it and push it down in. You'd probably need super glue for this part. I think most other glue probably wouldn't hold it. You might even, if you wanted to hang them somehow, or I'm not sure I love that, but that's an idea. You can also, and we might even end up putting some candy canes down here or something. I feel like we just need a little something down here. So if we have the tree and the deer and them, and then we want to put a little something down here, you could also put some kind of implement every so often all the way around in the center. So that's something else we could think about doing. But for now, this is kind of the part that I have figured out. And we're going to go ahead and start with the part that I've got figured out. So let's move this stuff out of the way. Like I said, the deer's probably going to be just down the road a little bit here. All right, I'll move that stuff out of my way. We're going to start with our piping bag, and we're going to go ahead and get that, start getting that frosted. As you remember from the last video, you just want to snip off some of your end of your piping bag. You're going to put your piping bag in. Be careful too as you're putting this in. I guess I didn't say that, but you don't want those little teeth to grab the edges of your bag. So I usually cup it like this and put it down in, and then drop it and then wiggle it down, because you don't want those edges snagging your bag and making a hole. As you can see, I have quite a bit to cut off still. I'm never good at doing exactly how much I need off of here, but I always go for less than more so I don't ruin as many bags. And there's, like I said, you can put it in there, measure, do it. There's a proper way to do it, I'm sure. I've seen people do that, but I tend just to wing it and hope for the best. Okay, so we've got that nice and tight down there. We're going to remove our styrofoam. I am going to blow off any kind of little debris I've got on the top of my cake. We're going to pull it down just like this, like we did before when we were doing our piping. And holy cow, look at all the glitter I have everywhere. That must be from that reindeer. Boy, he's glittery. Glitter, it's pretty, but you either like glitter or you don't. And glitter is messy. It gets everywhere and it's hard to clean up. And again, for those of you that either didn't see the other video or maybe missed that part, this is a silicone mat. I got it off Amazon a couple of years ago. I was saying that they were inexpensive, but then I haven't looked at how much they are now, because I know everything has gone up. Craft supplies and everything has gone up. I usually try to keep some paper towels around. I clean that. I get it all wet. So I like to dry my surface off the best that I can. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna give this a little turn here, and then if I don't think we'll need more, but we might. We're gonna go ahead and just fill our bag up. So like I showed you before, you're gonna push it on down, pushing it down and trying to avoid air bubbles as much as possible. So I try to push it down as tight as I can. And I do have my patio door vented a little bit here. It's actually open quite big right now. It's a little warmer today, but I do like to have a little ventilation when I'm working with spackle. I have a pet, and I also have asthma, so it's not the best to probably breathe in all the time. And like I said, a mask, gloves, the wisest way to use this stuff. And if you have a place where you can work outside of your house, it's probably better. But I do not, so I'm going to work right in the house. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. Let me just show you again real quick in case you forgot or missed it. We'll go over it again. Push your spackle down. I did a little better today. I don't see as many air bubbles, but there's some in there. And this, for this, it's not going to matter as much. We're making this snow, and it's just going to be a dollop in here with snow. I do want to judge again real quick, because honestly, this takes up, let me look, which side is my back? I've got to face this toward me for this side. Where's my start and stop here? See, this is good that I'm having trouble finding my start and stop. There it is. Before I can tell you that was never a problem. Okay, so we want Santa on here. We want this. And we're also going to have this deer. So we're doing, I think we're going to need about, I would say roughly an inch space all the way around. So I'm going to start smaller and then work my way out if I need to. Okay, again, glitter everywhere. So what I like to do is kind of find my center and just make a little dollop. That's center-ish. Not perfect. This is like more the center right here. And then you're just going to squeeze and build this up. And this, you want this to be, you know, you can do all kinds of motions because you want this to look a little helter-skelter because it's supposed to be snow, right? So, and I'm just going to go ahead and empty my bag as much as possible here. Okay. I'm going to set this aside. So here's what I have. I've probably left nearly 2 inches in between it because as we squish stuff down, this is going to spread out a little bit. And so you want to leave a good amount. And you see how it's just helter-skelter on there? It's not perfect. It's not magical looking. Again, I'm going to double check that that's the back side of my cake. Here's the back. And I know I'm working toward me, but I will turn it toward you as we go here. So when I'm going to place him, and then probably what I'll end up doing is taking him off and then adding glue to him because I want to make sure. I'm just going to squish him down in here. And they might stay without glue, but we'll check it afterwards. Okay, so I've put him in. I've left a little bit of spackle squishing out on each side. Okay, I'm going to turn him this way. And then I think I'm going to take my little thing here and I'm going to move that out a little bit to put my tree down in here. I'm going to create a little pocket, pushing that out a little bit. So let me show you what I did there. So I just created a little pocket. And I'm going to go ahead, and I'm probably going to have to add some more speckling. And I'll take some else here. And I'm going to push him down. Okay, so we're going to end up needing to add more speckling around the tree. But first, my main goal is to get it down there, squish it down a little bit. And so here's what we look like. We're going to put more around it to hide it. We'll hide that base of the tree. And then we have our one spot left here. And you can see I've got some whipped cream up on the tree. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. So the next thing we wanted to do is I think I'm gonna push a little bit of my speckle over that way into my tree. I'm gonna create a little crevice here, pushing that out and around my tree a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you. It doesn't have to be fancy. I got a few branches stuck in there. It's okay. I'm going to pull off a little bit. I just made that smaller. And I'm going to stick this right down in here. Okay, so now I've just stuck that little piece of styrofoam right there. That's what this is what my reindeer is going to stand on. So I don't know, I might have to go over a little bit. So he's going to stand right there. That's my plan, that he's going to stick out just a little bit. So I am going to have to make a little bit more spackling. So at this part, you kind of want your tree to be standing fairly straight. And what I didn't show you was sometimes these are a little bent. It's just a wire in there. I had it standing and I straightened it up until it looked like it was standing straight up and down to me before I put it on the cake. I did that before I started filming, just not thinking and just automatically doing it because it was crooked. So you want this to be kind of level because you want your tree to be straight and you want it to stand up tall. And I've pushed Mr. and Mrs. Claus forward a bit, so I'm gonna just move them back a little bit and stand them up. Make sure my tree is standing tall. Make sure they are straight. Just kind of put them in there. Making sure they're pretty even. And see, it's squishing the speckle out. See how it's moved it all about? It doesn't matter if it's not perfect all the way around. You want it to look a little bit off kilter. You don't want perfect snow. The snow mound is not perfect. Push that down a little bit. Okay, so we're going to mix up a little bit more spackling. And, oh, that was the tier we didn't need. And I apologize that you have to watch me do that again. I thought I would have enough. I don't need a whole lot more. I almost feel like that's probably going to be enough. We don't need a ton more here. Just put enough in there just to make sure that I don't run out. As I said, you should have plenty for your cake, for your piping, and if you're worried that you're going to run out, and you very well may, if it's the first time that you've made anything with spackling and you're not used to like how much to put on the base and stuff like that, you may end up having to get a little bit more. Just FYI, Walmart, oops, they put an awful lot of paint in there. Whoops, I was talking and not thinking. So this is going to be pretty creamy. Walmart sells these in the smaller little 8-ounce containers, the Red Devil or the DAP. You could use either one. It would not matter if you mixed them and added more snow if you need it to the top. They sell them, I think they're about $3 for the little one. And if you just need a little bit more, add your, put it in another container, add your paint, and you'll be fine. It'll be enough. So, I mean, it's possible that you'll run out. You shouldn't run out, but it's possible if you haven't done this before and you're still trying to gauge how much to use for things. Okay, so now I'm going to reopen my bag, and we're just going to do that exactly the way I showed you in the other video. Just going to kind of do this, get your bag to open. And this is why I always leave this top part clipped and clean. Flip it inside out, because then it avoids getting it all over your hands. Again, you're going to create your little pocket. You can even do that to get your opening back up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do a refill real quick, pushing it down, scraping them sides and pushing it down in there. And it will tell you it's a balancing act to hang on to your thing and get yours. If you need to, just set it down. I have a paper towel here for that reason, or you can use one of your wet wipes or something like that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try to use all this in here because I have another project anyway, so I can probably just leave it right in here. All right, so let's get all that out of there. And I'm just gonna scrape it. I'm scraping it right along the edge, and I'll show you how that looks in there. So just kind of pushed it down and scraped it. Okay, get that off. I'm sorry, I have a cold and allergies, and I'm always snuffing. I know that sounds terrible on the video. I apologize. Okay, so now I'm just gonna work it down a little bit. Not yet closing my top. I'm just gonna work it down. Try to avoid those air bubbles. It won't matter as much for this. You're just making fake snow, so if you get a bubble, just work with it. I'm gonna wipe my tip real quick because it's probably getting a little bit dried on the outside of that as we're working here. And try to, but as I've told you, I'm a messy crafter, and here I do have it all over my hands once again. Let me just remove my trash here because I'm getting it all over me. All right, so let's move our cake back over. And that's the other reason. You always want to keep your hands nice and clean, because now I'm going to grab the sides of my cake again. I'm going to dry my hands a little bit too, because that was an extra wet wipe, like very wet. And so then I'm just going to grab this back toward me, and I'm going to, we're going to go ahead and, again, I'm just going to move it in a circular motion. I want to hide all of that. I'm going to pipe that tree right in. I don't care if I get a few of the branches. I'm just piping in the snow. I'm going to pipe along Mrs. Claus here. I'm going to do a little swirl here and down and around and just kind of bring it all together. Okay, so here's what we've got. We just built up our snow, and we've built it up. My tree's starting to tilt, so I'm gonna have to redirect the tree again. Yeah, that's all right. So that will harden right in there, just like that. Just make some snowbanks. Okay, snow's never even, right? It's never even. This is really sticking in here good. I don't think we're gonna have to do anything else with those. Okay, so then I have quite a bit left in there. Just set that aside, and then let's go ahead and try to place our deer. Let's get that out of the camera view, and I'm going to place it and then show you what it looks like. So I'm going to put this toward me, and let's see, I want him right about here. And you can use your tree a little bit to give him some balance. All right, I am going to move him very slowly. So so what we did, as you can see, I used that piece of styrofoam that we had spackling, the little piece of styrofoam we stuck in there, and then we kind of used that to prop him up on. So he's standing pretty good on his own. He's got a little bit of help from the tree to help him stand. I don't want to move this too fast or too much, but let me just show you how he's in. Oops, see? Yeah, I shouldn't have moved him. I shouldn't have moved him. But that's how you stand him in there. You're just gonna not wanna, I'm gonna wipe his legs off now because his legs got when he fell, he got that stuff way up on him, and we don't want that way up on him. Let me just try to, because it's going to be on his hoofs and his feet, and that's okay, but we didn't want it way up on his leg, way up high. So let me just kind of get some of that off of there. Okay. So we just wiped him down. I got a little bit more to get off from his, because his feet are going to be down in the snow. We need him to be so he stays. And then I've got little fibers on him from the wipe. Okay, so let's set that aside. I'm not going to move it this time when I do that. I'll just show you. Okay, so let's go ahead and put his feet, putting kind of his rear leg back in there. I'm going to try to put him about in the same place that he was sitting. And I think I actually did, I did get some speckle on his horn here. So I'm going to get that off of there. I don't know if it's a piece of styrofoam. Okay, so we're going to put that back down in there. And you can add a little more snow around his feet or something. But you just want to push him down, and so he's in that spackling. I might just do this a little bit. You can also use your toothpick to kind of swirl your snow around too. And let me see here. Yeah, let's see if he's standing up okay. So he's kind of falling back a little bit. There. I think if we leave him just like that, he will stay standing up. Now, if not, and you're able to lift him right out, we would use, you can use super glue. I prefer not to use super glue if I don't have to. I like the Fast Grab Tacky Glue. I would just pull him out once this dries a couple of days, or if he starts to flop over, and then I'd put this on him. I'd wait a couple of days for it to dry more. If he starts falling on us, then we just wait a couple more days for him to dry a little bit more. So I'm just going to stand him straight like that. I'm going to kind of watch him. If he flops over, I might have to add a little bit more of my fake snow around him. I think I am going to fix this little spot. I'm going to wipe my tip off and just make this look frosted again, because where he fell, he kind of flattened out the snow. So there we go. And give him a little bit back there. Yeah. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so that gives us a little bit more snow. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in because I kind of got a bit of a ditch there. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. He is starting to tilt this way a little bit because I keep moving the cake, but you also, as I said, you can wait until it dries a little bit. And then I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll do another video, or I will just show you what I did to add anything else. You could add your glitter now while this is all wet if you wanted glitter in there. And I think I might do that. I think I might go ahead and add some glitter because I think I'm going to like the glitter in there. Let me go grab that really quick. I left that on the other side because I didn't think I was going to glitter it, but I think I would like a little bit of glitter. So let me have it right back. Okay, So the thing you're going to want to do that I'm not doing right now is if you're going to glitter, put something underneath your cake beforehand, because this is going to not be a lot of fun to clean up later. I'm not going to put a lot of glitter in it. I just want a tiny bit. So just a littlest bit. I'm just taking a tiny bit in here. And I'm just going to like sprinkle it down and around just to give it a little shimmer. You can get glitter. I think this is one I get off of Amazon. Michael's, Walmart, Hobby Lobby. I mean, there's almost nowhere that you can't get glitter. And you'll see I'm making a mess. Okay. And I see that I have, this must be a big chunk of glitter from the reindeer. It's just kind of in here. And pardon me while I take my glasses off to see. It was just like a really big chunk of glitter. I don't know if you can see that. It was just really big compared to the rest of the glitter, so it looked really odd. And so I'm just gonna put a little glitter in there where I poked a hole. It'll be no one will ever know that it was there. The other way you can do that is you can wait for it to dry. If you want it to stick on the top of your cake too, which now I'll have to tap mine off, you can, like I said, brush it with some, you can use Mod Podge. I don't like Mod Podge on speckle because it's really wet. I like the Duracraft by Deco Art. It's thin, it goes a long way. You just do a quick little coat with the brush, paintbrush, and then rinse it. That stuff does really stick to your skin though. You'll want wipes on hand to get it off because it's thin, so it's not like Mod Podge in the way that you can let it dry and then peel it off. It doesn't. It just coats your skin and it stays on for a few days. So you might want to be aware of that. And I just see this little spot down here where there we go. That spackle down at the bottom there was not coated. And you can lose your mind with glitter, I'll be honest. And you can end up using an awful lot of glitter. Finding places you missed. Like I'm gonna throw that under the tree there. There we go. I just wasn't, there was like a little area that I missed. So there. So that's what we're gonna do for today. I think our little guy is staying there pretty good now that we added a little more spackling to him. You can just see here that he's kind of encased in there now. Looks like our tree, I think, is pretty good as far as being straight. And then the key here now is to leave it alone, which I often have trouble doing with my projects, just leaving them alone. The other thing we had talked about is doing something on the corner down here. The other thing you could do, they have little tiny presents. I thought I might have brought some of them out here. But at Hobby Lobby and things, there's little tiny gifts, or you could make some. You could stick a couple of those under your tree. I just decided that I wanted it to kind of look like, you know, we're at the North Pole, they're just outside with their reindeer, whichever one you choose for that reindeer to be. And I'm thinking maybe we do, because we're going to do the ornaments on the tree, if you want to. I'm going to put them in your kits for you. I'm not sure if I want them on this one, but we might put them on there. And then the reason I also like this deer that's kind of like the champagne gold, which is literally silver and gold mixed together. So if you see champagne gold, that's kind of what it is. But the good thing is silver or gold will match. So if you don't like silver or you don't prefer gold and you'd rather just do like this, the red and the gold, or you could add a green down here. I was thinking about putting a couple of bulbs on the bottom, like, but I'm just not sure. I kind of like the simplicity of it. We'll see. I'm gonna sit with it for a day or two, and so when I take the picture for my Facebook page, it might look very different. I don't know. I have to see. A lot of times I have to sit with projects for a little while to see, do I like the simplicity? Do I need something more? Do I want to add, you know, a little snow tech to the deer's antlers? Or I think I'm pretty happy with this part of it now. I wasn't going to do glitter either, but then I'm like, I want my snow to glisten. I wanted my snow to glisten just a little bit. So here's the final project. I'm going to try not to move it around too much so my deer doesn't fall over again. And I'll see you in the next video, or this might actually be our final video. I might do one more part if I do a little addition to it to show you what I did. But if we add some more, my spackle's only a day dry, this part. So it's dry to the touch, but I promise you that if you push down on it, it'll smash it. This will take about a week or 10 days, 7 to 10 days probably. It's thick. And this the same. It'll take a couple weeks to fully cure. So if you were going to ship this, I would not ship this for a minimum of 2 weeks. And then I would probably bubble wrap the top really well, then bubble wrap the whole thing. And you really want all that spackle to dry. When it's thick like that, it takes a long time for it to dry. But there we go. Sweet little Santa cake. We might need some candy canes, or maybe we could do some holly around the edges and glue those on. We'll just have to see. I'll sit with it for a little bit and we'll see what we end up with. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can reach me on my Facebook page through Messenger. You can leave a message on this video, and I'm happy to try to help you. I'm Eastern Standard Time, so generally I start my day usually around 8:30 in the morning, and I will answer things up until, you know, sometimes very late in the night, depending on the day and time of day. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.